Well, it's November, a month of change in elections, the weather, and even your health.
And we've got it all.
Hi, I'm Pete Gallivan.
I'm Claudine Ewing. This month, there are reasons to be forever thankful in our homes, in our lives, and also in the community.
These bags, to me, represent meeting the need in a community.
We all know this is a time of need, and many people are turning to pantries to get what they need to survive. Friday, December 2nd, is the Food to Families food drive at select Tops locations. And you can help now by purchasing brown bags of hope, just like this.
To have to go to the grocery store and see a bill that, might have been one number, just 6 months ago, and seeing it double or even triple, and realizing that you can't bring as many, many bags out of the grocery store that you used to.
Families are struggling to put food on the table.
The increase of the working class people who have jobs, having to admit needing help.
About 1 in 8 individuals who are facing food insecurity, which means that they lack enough nutritious food consistently to lead a healthy life. For children, it's even more prevalent. It's about 1 in 5.
Food pantries partnering with Feed More Western New York have seen an increase in the need.
Veterans, we've noticed single parents with children that are coming to our pantry, and they're making requests for milk, diapers.
We hear that they want healthy food. We're able to give them, fruits and vegetables at times.
When the massacre happened at Tops down the street from Refuge Temple, Feed More stepped up.
We work closely with more than a dozen food pantries which are in a mile radius of the Tops on Jefferson Avenue, who have deep roots in the community.
They showed us that it's not only in the time of tragedy, but even when things that are not gleaming before us, that there are, needs that people have to be, that has to be met.
And while the store has reopened, the need for pantries is quite evident.
There's a sense of intrepidation going, to go back to, the place, the area where, the mass shooting took place. So our numbers here at the food pantry are not decreasing, but they're increasing.
Western New York, you're needed to help those who just need help.
We feel all the love, and we just pray that continues.
Gotcha. Life is more than football for the Bills star tight end. Since his rookie year, he's been an ambassador, or sorts, for PUNT, a nonprofit that helps families dealing with pediatric cancer. What does PUNT mean to you?
The PUNT Foundation just gives me so much more meaning than just football, because football is incredible. It's a great sport, but at the same time, it's just a game. But the awesome thing about NFL football is it gives you a platform to be able to change the community that you're in, as well as get messages out to people that would have never heard you if you didn't play football.
And the message was loud and clear when Dawson's 22-year-old brother Luke, a Florida international football player, died suddenly in August. Fans from Buffalo to the Knox brothers' hometown, Nashville, started donating $16.88, a number representing the brothers' jersey numbers.
Yeah, when something like that happens, you can never expect it. You never really can be properly prepared for it. It'll change your whole perspective on life really quickly. For a while, it didn't even feel real. But to see the way that this community has rallied behind my family and behind the PUNT Foundation, and what the PUNT Foundation's been able to do for me through this time too, it's just an incredible testament to them and what they do, and to this whole community.
We raised over $230,000 from about 9,000 donations. We have kind of 3 major initiatives that we will be funding with these resources. The first is creating an endowment for our Helping Hands program, which is, frankly, it's bill paying for families. We get requests from medical social workers for families who are in urgent need of financial assistance to stay afloat. We're also establishing the Last Responder Fund. As you know, Claudine, we really make bereavement a priority here at our organization, which is sometimes, an aspect of things that people tend to look away from because grief, loss, pain make people uncomfortable. Very excited to announce Luke's Locker, which is a counterpart program to Dawson's Locker. We run our locker in partnership with hospitals, and we give them gas cards, grocery cards, hospital parking vouchers, which are so important, cafeteria vouchers. So Luke's locker will be established at Vanderbilt in Nashville, Tennessee, which has one of the largest pediatric oncology units in the country.
Brothers, so close. A family, so strong. Grieving is not easy. I mean, we've gone through, yesterday was 6 months since that tragedy at Tops, and those families are grieving. You're grieving. So many people have grief at this time. How do we help?
The continuation of being aware of, the foundation and what they do and how incredible they are as people, and just kind of allowing Luke's legacy to live on through this foundation and through all the work that they do is, I think, more than enough.
November is Men's Health Awareness Month, and it's no secret that men tend to be more reluctant to seek help or treatment. Rochester Davis is a retired firefighter. He is proud to be cancer-free, but he has an important message for men. Take care of your health.
The message basically to us men is go to the doctor. I try to spread the message to anybody. I would walk up to a stranger and ask them, have you been to the doctor and been checked? I can't tell you the number of calls I get from guys that are basically just got diagnosed and they want some information, and we'll sit down and go have coffee. But the thing is, having that relationship to talk to somebody basically that's been through what you're getting ready to go through and the decisions and choices that you have to make. If we can check and find out whether you do or don't have cancer, it's in your best interest.
November was also the month voters went to the polls. Western New York's own Kathy Hochul became the first woman ever elected governor of New York State.
I'm not here to make history. I'm here to make a difference. My parents started out married life in a trailer park, but they rose up through hard work and education and lifted themselves out of their circumstances. And they raised me in a strong social justice Catholic family where I was taught to fight for others.
And listen to the newly elected Lieutenant Governor, Antonio Delgado, a Rhodes Scholar with a law degree from Harvard, a man who decided on a career in music focused on empowering young people through hip-hop.
I am New York. With all of this diversity and endless possibilities through and through. New York gave me my first love, basketball, where countless hours are played on the Central Park courts in Schenectady. New York, the birthplace of hip-hop. Shout out to the South Bronx. Gave me the culture and my passion for its truth. This country needs New York right now, protecting the rights of everyone, looking out for the most vulnerable amongst us, the marginalized, the neglected, the forgotten, the exploited, and we will achieve all of this through love.
Coming up, we're celebrating Native American Heritage Month. And it's been over 6 months since 10 black people were targeted and killed at Tops on Jefferson Avenue. Victims' families talk about that and race relations. Welcome back to commUNITY. November is Native American Heritage Month.
And just in time to mark that, the return of a little piece of Western New York history and a long-lost artifact that is finally back on the Tuscarora Nation.
It's a part of our history.
And the Tuscarora Nation has quite a history, migrating south to the Carolinas in pre-colonial days. Then after battles with English settlers and other indigenous nations, they moved back north, settling in New York and becoming part of the Iroquois Confederacy, or the Haudenosaunee. And now a piece of that history is back home.
And coming from the very first president is an important piece of our history.
Now, many are familiar with the Red Jacket Medal that was recently returned to the Seneca Nation by the Buffalo History Museum. But other medals were given out by George Washington in the infancy of our nation. One of them honored Tuscarora Nicholas Cusick, a Revolutionary War hero, spy, personal assistant, bodyguard, and interpreter for the Marquis de Lafayette, the French leader who helped the colonists defeat Britain.
I've known about Nicholas Cusick since I was a kid. My mom told me about him, explained his exploits in the Revolutionary War and his early leadership here in the community. And as I got older and did a lot of research on not just Tuscarora, but all Haudenosaunee nations and history and kind of learning a lot, I was wondering why he didn't have one of those medals of peace, because he had such an instrumental role in the 1790s in our community.
It was something that we just learned about and didn't know that it was really out there.
Turns out it was out there. Chief Tom Jonathan got an amazing call about a year ago. Turns out the medal had been removed from the Tuscarora Nation and resurfaced centuries later at an auction house, lacking any documents showing its original owner. The auction house donated the medal to the Chickasaw Nation, and the nation accepted it, determined to identify its original recipient. Their investigation found that the medal was sold in the 1870s to a collector by U.S. Army Captain Cornelius Cusick, a grandson of Nicholas Cusick. And it was confirmed that George Washington had indeed awarded the medal to the elder Cusick. Recently, a delegation, including Chief Jonathan and other members of the Tuscarora History Group, traveled to Oklahoma to accept the medal and return it to its home.
But it was amazing just to actually have something in our hands that one of our former leaders from the Revolutionary War era once owned and had.
It was a really good feeling. You know, it's always a good feeling is good medicine to our people.
Black soldiers have participated in every war in which the United States has been engaged.
As we mark Veterans Day this year, Western New York has an important new landmark to celebrate.
Tonight, we're celebrating the unveiling of the African American Veterans Monument.
In September, the wraps were taken off this impressive new monument at the Buffalo and Erie County Naval and Military Park.
And I really hope from the bottom of my heart, that people are getting it, that you're getting it. We are in this together. We're going to go together or we're going to fall together.
6 years in the making, 12 columns representing each conflict in which the U.S. has been engaged, in which African Americans have played a pivotal role.
Oh, I think it's very important, and I'm so proud. I served 25 years in the Navy, and I'm so happy that we got a monument here, and all the African Americans that served in the wars throughout the year. This makes me so proud and so happy.
For the veterans and their families, it's been a long time coming. Years of frustration in many cases, as other ethnic groups have been honored with monuments over the years.
Here at the Naval Park, you will find Hispanic American veterans. You will find Polish American veterans. You will find, as far as monuments, all kinds of tributes to everybody that has served. So now, adding to that community is the African American Veterans Monument.
An overdue salute to so many, and a place for veterans to come and remember, but also take pride in their place in history and their service to country. Veterans like Jeffrey Elder, who served for decades in the Air Force, even working his way up to fly the president.
Being a young black man from Niagara Falls, New York, I never would have dreamed that I would have served 3 different presidents on Air Force One and that they would call me by my first name.
You got to think about all those hundreds of years ago, fighting for just your freedom, to now the top man is an African American, okay, which is the Secretary of Defense himself. I think we've come a long way.
I get goosebumps thinking about it. I'm thinking about the people that I'm going to meet, and I'm going to be listening to the stories that they tell, because this is history, and African American history is American history.
This is the site where on May 14th, a self-proclaimed white supremacist, now charged with murder, killed 10 black people and injured 3 others. The families are still grieving, but they're also taking action. I spoke with the son of the oldest victim. He's bold and direct.
My mom was 86 years old. She was completely independent, strong. She got up May 14th and did what she does. She went to the nursing home, took care of my dad, and left there and stopped by the store.
Top son Jefferson, even with her debilitating back issue.
I got a call from my wife's family member alerting us to something going on at Tops. Finally, I just told my wife I'm going to go and check on my mom. She wasn't answering the phone.
Whitfield, a retired fire commissioner, went to the nearby firehouse, got an escort, walked the perimeter of the store, looking for his mom's car.
I could just barely see the top of a black car, probably some handwritten signs in the windows, you know, God is my co-pilot, and a Bill's cap in the window.
Police identified Whitfield as one of the 10 killed.
Was she inside the store, outside the store?
Yeah. She was in the store. She was in the store. In the front of the store. Nobody deserved that. Certainly not her. Because in the midst of our pain,
You've gone to D.C., you've spoken with the highest of the high in this nation.
I'm thankful for their whatever they do. But at the end of the day, we got to call it what it is. All of those things fall short of calling it what it is, and it's white supremacy. And the truth of the matter is that this nation was built and formed on the same principles. Okay, so let's just stop pretending otherwise.
An 18-year-old is charged with murder.
Our goal is to make sure that no stone is left unturned. You know, whether it's the parents, whether it's social media, whether it's the gun manufacturers, everything that drove him to do what he did, everything that was used to radicalize him, every piece of it needs to be uncovered and held accountable.
TOPS reopened. Have you been there?
No, I have not.
As for his father,
missing his wife, missing his caregiver, the love of his life. They were married for 68 years. I want to thank Buffalo and Western New York for the love and the kindness, but the problem is the city of good neighbors is one of the most segregated cities in America. And so, you know, we got a lot of work to do here.
Dialogue is needed.
Well, I don't give a damn about people's feelings anymore because you need to be uncomfortable. Because I've been uncomfortable my whole life. My whole life I've been treated differently because of the color of my skin.
A family still hurting.
I would like to see my mother again. That's what I would like to see.
What would Mrs. Ruth Whitfield say to you right now?
She would tell me to trust God. If you ask me what she would do, probably 10 times more than I'm doing.
Coming up, she's a City Honors recent grad, and she's a model too.
Welcome back to Community. Right now it's time for our entertainment segment.
Enjoy, because we get down even when it's cold and snowing.
I've done shows for Burberry, Miu Miu, Alex, Valentino, Marc Jacobs. I got scouted at a mall when I was with my cousin for this program. I went through the program and they had this competition type thing. I went to the competition, I won.
Did somebody just see you and say you should be a model?
Yeah, it was me and my cousin. They're like, oh, you should do this like modeling thing. And I was like, okay.
It was totally legit. At 16, she signed with an agent.
My first job was this campaign I did for Prada last year in like October. Even now, it's like if I see myself in that ad, it's like, oh, that happened, cool.
Did you tell anybody in school what you were doing?
There was one girl in school because we did the program together. I didn't tell everyone explicitly what it was. I wasn't embarrassed, but I was like, people don't need to know about that, you know?
And still doesn't talk about it.
I feel like a braggart if I tell anyone about it, and I don't like that feeling, but if they find it, they find it.
But she's almost everywhere.
I did T Magazine, ID Magazine.
She graduated from City Honors in June 2022 and delivered the superintendent's address.
Go out into the world and make a difference and continue to make your families proud.
Family is proud. City Honors Principal William Cressy said, "We are so proud of her. Her success at modeling is just one more dimension that makes our school and city proud of her." Young will go to college next year with plans to focus on law. For now, she's killing it on the runway with the platform.
My name's Yak. I'm a model, and my platform is to be used for climate activism to help combat climate change in the community and to help everyone who is affected by climate change.
She can walk the walk, but she uses her brain for change. Climate activism is what she continues to pursue.
Every single person on this world, some way, shape, or form is affected by it. It's also exacerbated by race and poverty level, socioeconomic status and all that stuff. I'm really glad that modeling has kind of moved forward in a way that it's not just carbon copy every time, if you know what I mean. And every time I see a model, everyone looks so distinctly different when it comes to their size, their shape, their height, their skin tone. Kind of makes me realize that beauty isn't this monotonous thing. There's so many definitions and things to beauty that so many people find beautiful.
South Sudanese roots, Toronto born, East Side Buffalo bred.
I don't like the way you've been moving, like you got something to prove it. You know I'm not telling you what to do, cause I ain't no teacher in my house, ain't no home.
She's a Buffalo gal, specifically Amherst, a 2012 Sweet Home High grad, living the dream, hoping to take on the music world by storm. Delaney Daniels is her name, and listen to how she stumbled into music.
I actually started off modeling. Started at 15 years old. I went to Susan Mackay Personal's Best.
And then she sang.
We needed a talent for this modeling competition, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to sing. That's all I could do at the time.
She's 28, living in Atlanta, working with Empire Distribution Label.
What kind of music? What's the genre? Or does genre not even mean anything to you?
Respectfully, it does not mean anything. I feel like I'm very versatile, and I've noticed a lot of people kind of categorize, race with the genre. So it was really different for, me to say, hey, I sing, and they expect R&B, and it just, this country twang just come out. Take me back to when I was little, when life was so simple, and I've had so little to worry about.
Her vocal coaches include Drea Denor and Linda Appleby.
Why should Buffalo pay attention to Delaney Daniels?
I feel like I've worked hard for this, for where I'm at. And at times I didn't have the support, didn't feel like I got really any recognition because I was put to be in a certain genre, so that was a little bit hard, but I still stuck with my guns and stuck to, the sound that God gave me, and I just perfected it instead of changing it.
She's worked with Benny the Butcher.
Rough Riders is a big deal.
Yes, if you know DMX, Eve, Wadeen, Swiss Beats, Alicia
Who is
Keys.
married to Alicia Keys.
Yes, that is Rough Riders.
What's next for you?
Top of 2023, I'm looking to release my new CD, Long Time Coming. Behind the scenes, I go through a lot. I stand on my own when it comes to this music industry, and dealing with different people is not as easy as it seems up front. So I'm looking for just overall success, and I just want to, stand on that stage one day with a Grammy and just say I did it. I've been really inspired by Brandy. I would love to do a song with her. I do love Beyonce. I've loved her since Destiny Child.
I wanna be bigger than I've been. I wanna be wiser than back then. Oh, I wanna be free. Oh, give me the old me.
And a special shout out to the Limbo Queen, Shamika. She's living and performing in Vegas. And while there, she got to perform for singer Usher. It was his birthday party, and she wowed the crowd. Keep it up, Shamika, making Buffalo proud.
Well, thanks for joining us. That's another edition of commUNITY. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving.
And next month, we're going to give you a best of for the year of 2022. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next month on commUNITY.